Premier League predictions, bonus round.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions, for finally we get to talk about some Premier League football. And what do we mean when we say bonus round? Well, the Premier League is getting 2 games out of the way early doors. They are the 4 sides that need their game in hand played, and that is what we're going to be covering. There's only 2 games to go over, but we will put timestamps like we always do down below in the description. You can also follow along on the little chapters thing, which is a new feature YouTube has added on their videos as well. I don't want to wait any longer. I don't want to delay anymore. Thomas, lead us into the first match.
Aston Villa host Sheffield United.
Oh my God, how good is it to talk about these teams again? It seems like a lifetime ago that we were talking about the Premier League. Oh, it's so good to have Premier League football back. And Sheffield United, if in case anybody has forgotten, and of course you haven't, have been amazing this season. They've had a miraculous season. Most people, including these 2 idiots here, predicted them to be rock bottom of the table and going down, and they've defied everybody by being 7th in the table, and if they win this game, they'd be up as high as 5th. It's an amazing job that Chris Wilder has done with this side. They haven't got, you look through the team, they haven't really got any stars. The stars have kind of emerged as the season's gone on. Starting right at the back with Dean Henderson, who we targeted in one of our videos as being the goalkeeper of the season. You can go and check that video out right there. He's had an amazing year, barring one mistake, which everybody keeps talking about against Liverpool. He has been amazing. And as we said there's a reason why people are talking about him being the Manchester United goalie and possibly being the England goalie as well. You don't get that unless you've had an amazing year. Right the way through the back line, Chris Basham's been one of the best centre-backs in the division. George Baldock, ex-Oxford United, has been one of the standout fullbacks. Moving through, Lundstrom, ex-Oxford United, he's been amazing. I mean, I remember when Lundstrom was at Oxford and he looked a good player, but you never thought he would be as good in the Premier League as he's showing. Certainly a player that gets better year on year, but they've just chipped in from all areas. Norwood, McBurney, and pretty much right from the very first game when they were losing 1-0 to Bournemouth and Billy Sharp slams in that equaliser, they just laid down a statement saying, we're here, if you want to beat us, you've got to basically put a 90-minute shift in to get anything out of Sheffield United this season. And most sides aren't up for it, and that's why they've been so good. It's very much like a whole club united under what Chris Wilder has done. And Tom, do you think if they win this game, Chris Wilder's going to have any special celebrations? Do you think he's going to do anything?
I think we might see him sliding down the pitch. I think we've seen this before, though, Ian.
I think we've got footage of this. Let's show it. It's pretty similar to what he did when Oxford won promotion back in 2010 against York City. Saying that, for some reason, I think Villa are going to get something out of this game. I do this all the time. I talk a side up and then I don't have them winning it. I think this one's actually going to be a draw. I think Villa are going to get a 1-1 draw in this one.
Yeah, this is almost Sheffield's match to lose, isn't it? They've been so good this season. They're so solid at the back. They just don't score a lot of goals, and that's why you feel like a draw is possible. Villa, on the other hand, love to concede. They have the worst defensive record in the league. They've shipped 56 goals in something like 29 games. It's pretty terrible. The importance of this match for Dean Smith and his merry band of pretenders literally cannot be understated. They've lost 4 straight matches. They have to reset. They have 9 cup finals now to save their season, and they are so close to saving it. A win here takes them out of the relegation zone on equals match played with quite a few other clubs above them. It is so tight down the bottom of the Premier League. I mean, Villa 25 points, Bournemouth 27, Watford 27, West Ham 27, Brighton 29. Brighton are in 15th. It's nuts. It is nuts at the bottom of the table. A win here takes them out of the relegation zone and puts them into 16th place in the league. And it'll drop Watford back into the relegation zone. So it's a huge match. Villa should get Trezeguet, Wesley, and John McGinn back. All really big players to the club. They've been out for a while. Defensively, though, like I said, this club has been at 6s and 7s. And if they play that way against Sheffield United, they are going to lose this match. They lost the corresponding fixture earlier in the year 2-0. But they've had some highlights this season. They beat Leicester City in the Carabao Cup semi-finals. There's also a really credible 2-2 draw with Man United earlier in the season. But it has been a tough year for Villa. And I was with you, Ian. I thought it was going to be a draw. But all of a sudden, I've got to go rogue because this is Very Biased Opinions, and I am biased. 1-0 to Sheffield United.
Do you know what? Literally, the more I look at it, the more I just lean towards Sheffield United, and I think maybe I've made a mistake, but I am going to stick with it. You just forget so many of their players. I mean, I didn't even mention like Fleck and Mousset, 5 goals apiece. I mean, Mousset especially, he's a guy that pretty much did nothing, and then he goes to Sheffield United. You know, Bournemouth didn't get a tune out of him, goes to Sheffield United, and all of a sudden he's a great player. Yeah,
no, it's they're definitely better than the sum of their parts, and they're never an easy match, and I don't.
No one likes going to Birmingham, though, Tom. No one likes the journey up to Birmingham, especially when you got no crowd to support you.
Or down to Birmingham in Sheffield's case.
That's true. I'm still thinking I live in Oxford there.
Anyway, and what's the next match?
Manchester City versus Arsenal. Tom, I think I'm going to talk about Arsenal. Is that okay?
No! Shut up, sit down, let me talk about this dumpster fire. This awful, careening mess of a club is led by leading goal poacher Aubameyang. What has he ever done of any skill? But they have begun to show signs of life under Mikel Arteta. They've actually not lost in the league in 2020, which hurts my soul, because they are a dumpster fire. For some reason, this club does not seem to know how to put its best 11 players on the pitch. Can Lacazette and Aubameyang play together? They seem great when they're together, and yet they never get put on the pitch at the same time. It's infuriating. I will say, I think for the first time ever, Arsenal have actually signed a good player in my lifetime. I suppose maybe in
your lifetime? You can't. I have choose people like Patrick Vieira.
The last 15 years have been one bad player after another, but Martinelli looks like a really shrewd signing.
Bergkamp, Perez.
Okay players.
Ozil.
Pepe's their top assister this year, but I think as we talked about before the show, he's been really mercurial this season. Like, he had a really great performance against Man United, and then he's garbage for the next 4. When he can get the ball on his left foot and drive inside, he's okay, but when teams mark him out of the match like that, he's got nothing going on. Arteta and to a certain point Ljungberg deserve a bit of respect for the fact that they brought through young players, as you were saying to me earlier, Nketiah, Maitland-Niles, some young guys coming through. Maitland-Niles does look a real prospect. He looks like a really good young player.
Versatile player as well, and he can play
all over the pitch. Some of their highlights include beating United 2-0 in January. It was a really complete performance. It sucked to watch it. But let's be honest, their real high point this season isn't anything they've even managed to accomplish themselves. It's Watford beating Liverpool to end their unbeaten run in the league. As all Arsenal fans will tell you, at some point in their past, they went unbeaten and they love it. You're the worst. No one likes you. In all probability, though, this is a club that really didn't want the break because they were finally in form. God knows what's happening with Mesut Ozil. I was looking at his stats this season, and they are diabolically poor. He's got a goal and 2 assists, and he's on like £6 million a year. It's mad. But enough about that. Let me give you my prediction, because I could talk about this for ages. I've got City to win this match 3-1.
Arsenal fans, if you were under any illusions of how much Tom hates Arsenal, he still thought Unai Emery was the manager. And I had to correct him that it was now Arteta. But anyway, I'm going to talk about the pride of Manchester. Yes, that's right, Manchester City. Second in the league, another great season under Pep Guardiola. Not as good as they have done in the past 2 years, but those standards were so high and they've fallen below it. And obviously everybody pales in comparison to how good another pride of the Premier League, Liverpool, have been this season. I would say probably the biggest thing for City is surprising is how bad they've been at the back. The last 2 seasons, they've looked almost a complete package. It looks obviously dominating a game from a possession point of view and very solid at the back. This season, it looks like you can get at them. They've had problems with injuries. Obviously, the greatest centre-back ever, Laporte, went down injury early doors. He's proved to be irreplaceable. And they've had to shuffle it around and play like Fernandinho there for a lot of the season. It hasn't helped. It hasn't helped that they've had Edison out and they've had to play Bravo so much, who is still a good keeper, but he's nowhere near as good as what Edison is. And yeah, it's just been a funny sort of year for them. I think that they really wouldn't care where they finish in the league as long as they win the Champions League, and they'll be just going hell for leather to try and win that if and when that ever comes back. The usual suspects have been really, really good for them. Aguero's the top goal scorer. Sterling's been great. De Bruyne, double-double for him. I know you like a basketball analogy, Tom. Jesus has obviously been excellent as well. But let's not look at some of the underrated players. I remember when we watched Oxford play Man City in the Cup, Rodri, he's someone that flies under the radar for them. Just a fantastic, continuity player, but that doesn't do him justice. Just a guy that keeps everything ticking over, keeps everything rolling, and a really good midfielder. Got some of the best midfielding stats out of the whole side. They're probably going to finish second this season, as I said, but it's not about the league. They've got good form over Arsenal. Arsenal always seem to struggle when they play these big sides. And it's not going to be a win for Arsenal, I'm afraid. It's going to be Man City. But I do think Arsenal are going to score. I think, long story short, it's going to be 3-1 to Man City. But also,
that's my result.
Let's not. You said 3-0, didn't you?
No, it's a 3-1.
I'll go 3-0 Man City then. I'm not going to copy. Changing much. Actually, no.
I've goaded you into that.
I'll change it completely because I did say Arsenal will score, and I'm going to stick to that. 3-2 Manchester City.
Oh, a barn burner.
Obviously, let's just say City have got these off the field issues as well. They're still fighting to try and be able to play in Europe next season, which will be a huge deal for them if they can't. But this one, you can't see anything other than a City win.
No, we watched the Bundesliga, and I think one thing we noticed in the Bundesliga is the first match back, everyone is a little bit rusty, but they still played really well. And it's the second, third, fourth games where you start to see a bit of oh Christ, is this really happening right now? So I think City, especially with their possession style of play, are going to come out and do really well against this Arsenal team. And with Villa and Sheffield United, I just can't imagine Chris Wilder putting a team out that isn't going to go hell for leather to get a result, even with the fact that they've got to play football 4 days later. And I think these four clubs might all struggle slightly in their second match. Yeah.
But we will get to those second matches. Oh my God, you lucky, lucky people. There's more to come, so much more to come from Very Biased Opinions. Not only is it the continuation of the Premier League, we've got the conclusion of the Bundesliga and the beginnings of Serie A and La Liga. So check out everything on this channel. A lot of football to binge on. It's going to be amazing. Just like to say thank you to everybody that supports us. Please continue to like the videos. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notify bell as well. Give us all your comments and Thomas will answer in a very timely manner. And do you have anything else to add, Mr. Pickering?
No.
Oh, he doesn't want to say the catchphrase.
No. There's too many notes now. There's too many notes.
I will say that our catchphrase is, yeah.
Thank you for watching. We love you all.